The transport ship hummed quietly as it moved through space toward the Galactic University Station Meridian. Inside the main cabin, 20 alien students sat in their designated seats, each one excited and nervous about what lay ahead. They came from 12 different worlds, each with its own culture and biology. Some breathed methane, others needed high humidity, and a few required special gravity adjustments just to sit comfortably. Zixthar pressed his crystalline hand against the window, watching the massive space station grow larger as they approached. His body caught the light and scattered it in rainbow patterns across the walls. He came from Kethril, a world with gravity 3 times stronger than the galactic standard. This made him one of the strongest beings in his class, and he knew it. The other students often looked at him with respect and a bit of fear. "I heard humans are small," said Plina from her water tank seat. Her voice came through a translator attached to the glass. Her skin glowed with soft blue patterns that shifted when she was nervous. "My parents said I should be careful, but I think they worry too much." Cornash clicked his mandibles in what his species considered laughter. His 6 eyes focused on different data pads at once, scanning information about Earth and humans. According to the records, humans average only 1.7 meters in height. Their muscle density is below standard. They come from a moderate gravity world. There is nothing to fear from them. Quote, "Then why is their planet marked as Class 12? Asked a small, furry creature named Vix. Her ears twitched with concern. "That is the highest danger classification in the database." Zixthar turned from the window and laughed, a sound like crystals chiming together. "It must be a mistake. The humans who came to the Galactic Council were so friendly and peaceful. They smiled all the time. They even brought something called cookies to share with everyone. Does that sound like a species from a dangerous world?" The other students murmured in agreement. They had all seen the human ambassadors on the news feeds. The humans had seemed almost fragile compared to most species. With their soft skin and small frames, they spoke gently and always tried to make everyone comfortable. Several species had noted how humans seemed almost too eager to please, too quick to apologize, too willing to compromise. The ship docked at Meridian Station with a soft thud. The students gathered their belongings and made their way to the orientation hall. The corridor stretched wide to accommodate species of all sizes. Zixthar had to duck slightly under some of the doorways, while Vix could barely reach the hand scanners without jumping. Inside the hall, hundreds of seats faced a large stage. A holographic display floated above it, showing images of various worlds. The students found their section and settled in, their excitement building. This exchange program was the first of its kind. They would be the first class to visit Earth and study alongside humans at one of their universities. It was an honor and an opportunity that thousands had applied for. Professor Trelmock walked onto the stage. He was a Venturi, a species known for their careful nature and attention to safety protocols. His 4 arms moved in precise gestures as he activated the display. "Welcome, students. You have been selected for the Earth Exchange program. This is a great responsibility and a unique chance to learn about one of the newest members of the Galactic Council." The display changed to show Earth. It was a beautiful planet, mostly blue, with white clouds swirling across its surface. Green and brown landmasses dotted the oceans. Several students gasped at how lovely it looked. "Before we begin the cultural briefing," Trelmock continued, "I must go over the safety protocols. This is mandatory for all students visiting Class 12 worlds." A few students shifted uncomfortably. Plina's glow dimmed slightly. "Class 12? Someone whispered. "Surely that is wrong." Trelmock pulled up a chart. Earth's classification glowed in red at the top of the danger scale. Earth is classified as a Class 12 death world. This classification is current and accurate. The planet poses significant risks to most galactic species. Nervous laughter rippled through the audience. Cornash raised one of his front legs. "Professor, with respect, there must be an error. We have met humans. They are not dangerous. They are actually quite weak by most physical standards. The classification refers to the planet, not the species, Trelmock said firmly. Though I will note that any species that evolved on a Class 12 world should be treated with appropriate caution. Caution? Vix's ears flattened against her head. What kind of caution? Trelmock's expression grew serious. Earth's atmospheric oxygen content is 21%. This is high enough to be considered a fire hazard on most worlds. Many of you will require oxygen regulators to prevent toxicity. The planet's gravity, while only slightly above galactic standard, will still require adjustment harnesses for several species. The temperature variation between day and night, and between seasons, is extreme. Earth experiences weather phenomena that include electrical storms, high-velocity winds, and frozen water falling from the sky. The students stared at him in silence. The planet is seismically active, he continued. The ground can shake without warning. Molten rock occasionally breaks through the surface. The sun's radiation is strong enough to damage genetic material in unprotected species. Most concerning, Earth's biosphere is extremely competitive. Nearly every organism has evolved some form of defense mechanism, whether chemical, physical, or behavioral. Zeeksthar felt his confidence waver slightly, but he pushed the feeling aside. Professor, if Earth is so dangerous, how did humans survive? They seem so fragile. That, Trelmock said quietly, is exactly what makes them remarkable and concerning. He paused, letting his words sink in. Humans evolved not in spite of Earth's dangers, but because of them. Every challenge their planet threw at them, they adapted to overcome. They are survivors, in the truest sense. Plina's patterns flickered rapidly, a sign of deep thought. But they are so kind, so gentle. I watched the council meetings. They never showed aggression. Kindness and capability are not mutually exclusive, Trelmock said. In fact, I would argue that choosing kindness, when you come from a world like Earth, makes it more meaningful, not less. He advanced the display to show equipment. Now let us review the required protective gear for your visit. The next hour passed in a blur of safety instructions. Breathing apparatus, gravity supports, radiation shields, temperature regulators, and emergency beacons. Each student received a personal safety kit that seemed far too elaborate for a simple academic exchange. As they filed out of the hall, the mood had shifted from excitement to nervous anticipation. Zeeksthar tried to maintain his confidence, but questions nagged at him. If humans were so dangerous, why did they seem so harmless? If Earth was a death world, why had the humans made it sound so wonderful in their presentations? Maybe it is all exaggerated, Vix said hopefully, as they walked toward their quarters. Maybe the classification system is outdated. Cornash was quiet, his many eyes scanning through data on his pad. I have been reading human literature they provided to the database. They have something called fiction, which is stories that are not real. One genre is called horror. I am trying to understand it. What is it about? Plina asked. Things that frighten humans, Cornash said slowly. But I cannot comprehend what I am reading. The threats in these stories would not frighten most species. They would simply be normal dangers to avoid. Why do humans create entertainment about being frightened? No one had an answer. That evening, Zeeksthar lay in his quarters, unable to enter rest mode. Through his window, he could see Earth's transport ship docking at the station. It was smaller than most galactic vessels, built with simple, efficient lines. As he watched, two figures emerged from the airlock. Even from this distance, he could tell they were human. They moved with an easy grace, wearing only light clothing despite the station's cool temperature. They were laughing about something, their voices carrying through the observation deck. Zeeksthar watched them greet the station master with warm handshakes and bright smiles. But Trelmock's words echoed in his mind. Survivors, choose kindness, remarkable, and concerning. Tomorrow, they would meet these humans face to face. Tomorrow, the journey to Earth would begin. Zeekstar wondered if his confidence was justified or if he was making a terrible mistake. The humans below finished their conversation and headed deeper into the station, their laughter fading into the distance. Sleep did not come easily that night for any of the exchange students. The morning arrived with an announcement over the station speakers. All exchange students were to report to Docking Bay 7. Zeekstar joined the others in the corridor, noting how quiet everyone seemed. The nervous excitement from yesterday had transformed into something closer to dread. When they reached the docking bay, 2 humans stood waiting near the transport ship. One was male, tall and lean with brown hair and an easy smile. The other was female, shorter with black hair pulled back in what humans called a ponytail. Both wore simple clothing that seemed far too thin for the station's temperature. "Good morning, everyone," the male human said, his voice warm and friendly. "I'm Jake Morrison, and this is Amy Chen. We're your student liaisons for the exchange program. We're really excited to have you visit Earth." Amy stepped forward, her smile bright. "We know you must be nervous, but I promise Earth is amazing. You're going to love it. We've prepared everything to make you as comfortable as possible." Zeekstar studied them carefully. They seemed so genuine, so open. Jake stood with relaxed posture, hands in his pockets. Amy bounced slightly on her feet, like she could barely contain her enthusiasm. Neither showed any signs of being dangerous. "We will board now," Jake said, gesturing toward the ship. "The trip to Earth takes about 6 hours. We've got snacks and entertainment loaded up. Just make yourselves comfortable." As the students filed onto the ship, Plina moved close to Amy. "Is it true? Earth has 21% oxygen?" she asked through her translator. "Yeah, that's right," Amy said cheerfully. "Is that a problem? We have regulators if you need them. It is not toxic to you." Plina's patterns flickered with confusion. Amy laughed. "Oh no, we need it. Can't live without it, actually. Our bodies are designed for it." She said this as if it was the most normal thing in the galaxy. The students settled into their seats as the ship departed from Meridian Station. Jake moved through the cabin, checking on everyone and answering questions. He seemed completely at ease in zero gravity, pushing off walls with precise movements that suggested years of practice. "Jake," Cornash said, his multiple eyes tracking the human's movements. "You said you are from Colorado." "What is that?" "It's a region on Earth," Jake explained, hanging upside down from a handrail as if it was perfectly natural. "Mountains, lots of trees, fresh air. Beautiful place. I grew up hiking and camping there." "Hiking?" Vix asked. "Walking in nature for fun," Jake said. "You know, enjoying the outdoors, getting exercise, seeing wildlife." "You went into nature willingly?" Vix's ears flattened. "With wildlife present?" Jake's smile faltered slightly, confused by the question. "Well, yeah. I mean, that's where nature is. You've got to be smart about it, know what you're doing. But it's great. Very peaceful." The alien students exchanged glances. The concept of entering an uncontrolled environment for recreation seemed bizarre. As Earth grew larger in the viewing screen, Amy joined them in the cabin. "Oh good, you can see it now. Isn't it beautiful? That's the Pacific Ocean. And if you look there, you can see North America." The planet filled the screen, blue and white and green. It did look beautiful. Zeekstar felt some of his tension ease. How dangerous could a world that lovely truly be? "Prepare for atmospheric entry," the ship's computer announced. "All passengers secure your safety restraints." The ship shuddered as it hit the upper atmosphere. What followed was several minutes of turbulence that had most of the alien students gripping their seats in fear. The ship shook and rattled, warning lights flashing. Zeekstar's crystalline structure resonated with the vibrations, making him feel like he might shatter. Jake and Amy seemed completely unconcerned. Amy was looking at her phone, scrolling through messages, Jake had his eyes closed, possibly asleep. Does this not concern you? Zeekthar managed to ask through the shaking. Jake opened one eye. What? The entry? Nah, this is normal. Just a bit of turbulence from hitting the thick atmosphere. Nothing to worry about. He closed his eye again. The ship leveled out, and the shaking stopped. Through the windows, they could see clouds below them. The sun was bright, almost painfully so. Several students had to adjust their vision filters. Wow. The sun is really strong today, Amy said, glancing out the window. Perfect weather for your arrival. Strong? Plina asked weakly. This is normal? Sure, Amy said. I mean, you might want to wear sunscreen if you're going to be outside for a while. Don't want to get burned. Burned? Multiple students said at once. From the sun's radiation, Amy explained. It can damage your skin if you're not careful. But that's why we have sunscreen. Problem solved. The transport ship descended toward a city nestled between mountains and forests. Buildings rose from the landscape, but what struck the alien students was how much greenery remained. Trees lined the streets. Parks dotted the urban areas. This was not like most civilized worlds, where nature was carefully contained in designated zones. The ship landed on a platform near the university campus. As the doors opened, the alien students got their first breath of Earth's air. Those who needed regulators quickly put them on. The oxygen was rich, almost intoxicating. The temperature felt warm, and there was a slight breeze carrying strange scents. Welcome to Earth, Jake said, stepping onto the platform and stretching. Come on, I'll show you to your dorms. Walking on Earth was harder than expected. Despite the assistance harnesses, many students struggled with the gravity. It was not crushing, but it was noticeably stronger than they were used to. Each step required more effort. Zeekthar, being from a high-gravity world, found it manageable. But he watched Vix struggle, even with her support system. The humans walked normally, not even noticing the extra gravity. They moved with easy confidence. Their bodies completely adapted to this heavier pull. As they crossed the campus, the alien students began noticing other things. Human students walked everywhere, carrying heavy bags full of books and equipment. Some were running, apparently for exercise. A few were riding bicycles at speeds that seemed reckless. Is that safe? Cornash asked, watching a human zoom past on a bicycle. What, biking? Jake asked. Sure, as long as you wear a helmet. Well, mostly safe. I mean, accidents happen. But that's life, right? Before anyone could respond to that disturbing statement, a large creature bounded up to them. It was covered in fur, had sharp teeth visible in its open mouth, and was easily large enough to knock down most of the alien students. Several of them screamed. Jake laughed and kneeled down, letting the creature lick his face. Oh, don't worry about Max. He's just a dog. He's friendly. That is a predator, Zeekthar said, his voice strained. What? No. I mean, well, technically dogs evolved from wolves, which are predators, but Max here is a good boy. Aren't you, buddy? Jake scratched the creature behind its ears, and it made a happy sound. Amy joined in, petting the animal without any fear. Dogs are pets, companions. They live with humans. This is Professor Garcia's dog. He brings Max to campus sometimes. The creature, Max, looked at the alien students with interest. Its tail wagged back and forth. When it moved closer to investigate them, most of the students backed away quickly. He just wants to say hello, Amy said. He won't hurt you. But the alien students saw the teeth, the claws, the powerful muscles under the fur. This was an apex predator, and the humans treated it like a friend. They touched it voluntarily. They let it near their faces. Zeekthar felt his understanding of humans shift slightly. Either they were incredibly brave or incredibly foolish. Perhaps both. They reached the dormitory building without further incident, though the students noticed more disturbing things. Small creatures in the trees, that moved with lightning speed, birds that dove from the sky at dangerous velocities, plants with thorns growing wild in decorative beds. Inside the building, Jake showed them to their rooms. Each had been modified for the specific needs of its occupant. Plena's room had a water tank. Vix's had low-gravity furniture. Cornash had extra space for his larger size. "We've got orientation in an hour," Amy said. "Just rest up, get comfortable, and we'll meet in the main hall. Professor Kevin Martinez is going to give you an introduction to Earth biology." After the humans left, the alien students gathered in Zixthar's room. The building was quiet, except for strange sounds from outside. Chirping, buzzing, rustling. The sounds of life. "I do not like this," Vix said, her ears twitching constantly. "Everything feels wrong. The gravity, the oxygen, the temperature. And did you see that predator? They pet it." "They called it a pet," Plena corrected, though she sounded uncertain. "Perhaps we are overreacting. Humans seem to manage fine." Cornash was examining his data pad, his mandibles clicking rapidly. "I have been reading more about Earth biology. There are organisms here that eat other organisms while they are still alive. There are plants that can cause chemical burns. There are tiny creatures called insects that outnumber humans by billions. The humans did warn us it was a Class 12 world," Zixthar said slowly. "Perhaps we should have taken that more seriously." A knock on the door made them all jump. Jake poked his head in, smiling. "Hey, just wanted to check if you guys needed anything. Water? Snacks? We've got some cookies if you're hungry." The alien students stared at him. This human, who lived on a world trying to kill him every day, was offering them cookies. He looked so normal, so kind, so completely unaware of how terrifying his simple existence was. "We are fine," Zixthar managed to say. "Thank you. Cool. See you at orientation," Jake said, and disappeared down the hall, whistling a cheerful tune. The alien students sat in silence for a long moment. Through the window, they could see the sun setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and red. It was beautiful and terrible at the same time. Somewhere in the distance, something howled. The orientation was in 1 hour. They would learn about Earth biology. Somehow, Zixthar suspected their education was about to become much more disturbing. The lecture hall was large and old, with wooden seats arranged in curved rows, facing a central stage. The alien students filed in carefully, still adjusting to Earth's gravity and atmosphere. Professor Kevin Martinez stood at the front, setting up a holographic display. He was a human in his 40s, with gray streaks in his dark hair and an easy smile that seemed permanently fixed on his face. "Good evening, everyone," he said as they settled into their seats. "I'm Professor Martinez, and I teach biology here. Today, I'm going to give you an overview of Earth's ecosystem and food chains. I promise to keep it simple and interesting." Jake and Amy sat in the front row, both holding large cups of a dark, steaming liquid. The smell was strong and slightly bitter. Several alien students found it unpleasant. "What is that?" Cornash asked, gesturing at Jake's cup. "Coffee," Jake said, taking a sip. "Want to try some? What is it made from?" "Coffee beans. They're roasted seeds from a plant. Contains caffeine, which helps us wake up and stay alert." "Caffeine," Cornash repeated, searching his database. His eyes widened as he found the information. "That is a neurotoxin, a pesticide that plants produce to kill insects." Jake paused mid-sip, looking confused. I guess technically? But it just gives us energy. We drink it every day. Most humans do." Several alien students moved slightly away from Jake, as if the coffee might somehow splash on them. Professor Martinez cleared his throat, drawing their attention back to the front. "Let's begin with the basics. Earth's biosphere is approximately 3.8 billion years old. In that time, life here has evolved through 5 major extinction events. Each time, most species died out. Each time, life found a way to continue. The holographic display showed images of ancient Earth, with strange creatures that no longer existed. The current era is characterized by intense competition for resources, Martinez continued. Nearly every organism on Earth has evolved specialized adaptations for survival. These can be physical, chemical, or behavioral. He pulled up an image of a plant with bright red berries. This is a pepper plant. It produces a chemical compound called capsaicin. For most mammals, this chemical causes a burning sensation, pain, and irritation. It evolved as a defense mechanism. Amy raised her hand. Professor, can I add something? Of course, Amy. She turned to face the alien students, her enthusiasm clear. Humans love peppers. We eat them all the time. The burning sensation is considered pleasant by many cultures. Some people compete to eat the spiciest peppers they can find. The lecture hall went completely silent. Plena's patterns flickered rapidly in what could only be distress. You eat pain? Vix asked, her voice small. On purpose? It's not really pain, Amy tried to explain. I mean, it is, but it releases endorphins, which make you feel good. It's like a natural high. Plus the flavor is great. Zixthar felt something cold settle in his crystalline core. Humans had evolved to enjoy consuming things that hurt them. What kind of species did that? Professor Martinez continued as if this was perfectly normal. Earth's food chains are complex and interconnected. Let me show you a simple example. He displayed a diagram showing grass, an herbivore, and a carnivore. Energy flows from the sun to plants through photosynthesis. Herbivores eat plants. Carnivores eat herbivores. Decomposers break down dead matter, returning nutrients to the soil. And where do humans fit? Cornash asked. Excellent question, Martinez said. Humans are omnivores. We can eat both plants and animals. In fact, our ability to digest a wide variety of foods is one reason we were able to spread across the entire planet. You eat other animals? Plena's glow had dimmed to almost nothing. Living creatures? Well, not living, Jake said. We cook them first. Though some cultures do eat certain things raw, like sushi. But that's usually fish. And we prepare it carefully, to be safe. Amy noticed the distress in the alien students and tried to help. I know this might seem strange to some of you, but many species eat other organisms. It's natural. Earth's ecosystem depends on it. Most civilized species synthesize nutrients, Zixthar said quietly. We do not kill other living things for food. Oh, Amy said, her smile fading slightly. I didn't know that. I guess Earth is different then. But we're working on laboratory-grown meat and better plant-based alternatives. Lots of humans are vegetarian or vegan now, choosing not to eat animals. Professor Martinez pulled up the next slide. Moving on. Let's discuss some of Earth's more notable organisms. He showed an image of a shark. This is a great white shark. It's an apex predator in Earth's oceans. It can grow up to 6 meters long and has multiple rows of teeth designed for tearing flesh. Sharks have existed for over 400 million years. The alien students stared at the image in horror. Jake sipped his coffee calmly. This is a grizzly bear, Martinez continued, showing a massive furry creature. Another apex predator. Adult males can weigh up to 360 kilograms and can run at speeds of 55 kilometers per hour. They have claws up to 10 centimeters long. And humans live near these creatures? Vix asked. Some do, Martinez said. We've learned to coexist with most of Earth's wildlife. Though there are occasional conflicts, especially when humans encroach on natural habitats. The presentation continued, each slide more disturbing than the last. Venomous snakes, poisonous frogs, spiders that could kill with a single bite, plants that could cause severe allergic reactions, parasites that lived inside other organisms, diseases caused by microscopic creatures called bacteria and viruses. Evolution on Earth has been driven largely by predation and competition, Martinez explained. Organisms that couldn't defend themselves or adapt to changes died out. This created intense selective pressure, resulting in the biodiversity you see today. Cornash raised one of his legs. Professor, how did humans survive this? You have no venom, no claws, no natural armor. You are physically weaker than most predators. Martinez smiled, and there was something proud in his expression. Humans survived through intelligence, cooperation, and adaptability. We made tools. We worked in groups. We learned to use fire, create weapons, build shelters. Our brains became our greatest asset. Reveille Wan, Wary Lan, and persistence, Amy added. Humans are really good at just not giving up. Our ancestors would track prey for days, literally running them until they collapsed from exhaustion. We call it persistence hunting. You hunted by making other animals too tired to run? Plina asked, horrified. Well, yeah, Jake said. Humans have really good endurance compared to most animals. We can regulate our body temperature through sweating, which lets us keep going when other predators have to stop and rest. We're not the fastest or strongest, but we can outlast almost anything. The alien students processed this information in stunned silence. Humans were pursuit predators. They chased their prey until it literally could not run anymore. That was the behavior of a nightmare creature, not a civilized species. Martinez moved to the next slide. Now, let's discuss what humans typically eat today. He showed images of various foods: fruits, vegetables, grains, and various cooked meats, that is, dead animal flesh. Vic said, pointing at one image with a shaking paw. That's chicken, Amy confirmed. It's really common. Most humans eat it regularly. And this? Cornash indicated another image. Hamburger. Ground beef, usually from cows, served on bread with various toppings. Classic Earth food. Jake held up a small bag he had brought with him. Anyone want to try some almonds? They're really good. Crunchy, healthy, good protein. What are almonds? Zeeksthar asked cautiously. Seeds from a tree, Jake said, popping one into his mouth. The wild versions actually contain cyanide, which is poisonous, but we cultivated versions that are safe to eat. These are fine. Cyanide. Several students repeated in disbelief. Yeah, but not in these ones, Jake said, seeming confused by their reaction. Like I said, they're safe. The fact that humans had to specify which versions of their food were not poisonous said everything the alien students needed to know about Earth. Professor Martinez brought up a world map. Humans have settled on every continent except Antarctica, and even there we maintain research stations. We've adapted to deserts, jungles, mountains, Arctic regions, and everything in between. Human populations exist in some of the most extreme environments on the planet. Why? Zeeksthar asked. Why not stay in safe, comfortable regions? Martinez seemed puzzled by the question. Because there were resources there. Opportunities. New things to discover. Humans have always been explorers. We have a drive to see what's over the next hill, across the next ocean, beyond the next horizon. Even if it might kill you? Plina asked. Well, we try to prepare and minimize risks, Martinez said. But yes, humans have always been willing to face danger for the sake of knowledge, resources, or simply curiosity. Amy leaned over to whisper to Jake. I think we're scaring them. Jake glanced at the alien students and whispered back. Are we? I thought this was pretty basic stuff. That comment, perhaps more than anything else in the lecture, drove home the reality of the situation. To humans, all of this was basic. Normal. They lived with it every day and never thought twice about it. Professor Martinez concluded his presentation. Tomorrow, we'll be taking a field trip to a local nature reserve. You'll get to see Earth's ecosystem firsthand. I promise it will be educational and safe. We'll have all necessary safety equipment, and you'll be supervised At all times. The alien students exchanged worried glances. Go into actual Earth nature? With the predators and poisonous plants and dangerous insects? As the lecture ended and students filed out, Zeek-Thar approached Jake. Can I ask you something? Sure. What's up? Do humans ever get scared? Of your own planet, I mean? Jake thought about it for a moment. I guess when we're kids, we're scared of things like the dark or spiders or whatever. But you learn what's actually dangerous and what's not. You learn to be careful without being paranoid. Earth is home. You can't spend your whole life being afraid of home, you know? Zeek-Thar did not know. His homeworld of Kethril was predictable and controlled. Dangers were clearly marked and easily avoided. But Earth was different. Earth was wild, unpredictable, filled with countless ways to die. And humans just accepted it as normal. As they walked back to the dormitory, the sun had fully set. The darkness was deeper than the alien students expected. Strange sounds filled the air, chirping, buzzing, rustling, and in the distance, something that sounded like howling. What is that sound? Vix asked, her ears flat against her head. Coyotes, probably, Amy said casually. They're more active at night. They won't come near campus, though. Too many people. The alien students walked a little faster, staying close together. The humans seemed completely unconcerned, chatting and laughing about something unrelated. Earth was more terrifying than any of them had imagined, and they had only been here for one day. The third day on Earth began with an alarm that jolted the alien students from their rest. Zeek-Thar's crystals vibrated with the sudden noise, and he heard similar sounds of distress from the other rooms. Through his window, he could see dark clouds gathering in the sky, moving faster than seemed natural. Jake's voice came through the building's communication system. Hey everyone, just a heads up. We've got a storm rolling in. Nothing serious. Just typical autumn weather. Might get some rain and wind. If you need to go outside, maybe bring a jacket. Zeek-Thar accessed his data pad and looked up Earth weather patterns. What he found made his crystalline structure go cold. Earth storms involved electrical discharges powerful enough to vaporize most materials, wind speeds that could tear apart structures, and temperature drops that would kill many species. And Jake had called this typical. At breakfast in the dining hall, the alien students gathered around their table, watching the humans eat and drink with growing confusion. Lisa Rodriguez, a pre-med student, sat nearby with a plate of eggs and something called bacon, which Jake had explained was cooked pig meat. She noticed them watching and smiled. Morning, everyone. The sounds at night were disturbing, Plina admitted. Many creatures seem active after dark. Oh yeah, Earth has lots of nocturnal animals, Lisa said, taking a bite of her food. You get used to it. I barely notice anymore. A sudden flash of light filled the windows, followed seconds later by a rumbling boom that shook the building. Several alien students cried out in fear. Zeek-Thar's body automatically hardened, preparing for impact. The humans in the dining hall barely reacted. A few glanced toward the windows with mild interest before returning to their meals. That was close, someone said casually. Maybe a mile away. What was that? Vix asked, her voice shaking. Lightning, Amy said, joining them with her breakfast tray. It's when electrical charges build up in clouds and discharge to the ground. The thunder is the sound of air expanding rapidly from the heat. How much heat? Cornash demanded. Amy thought for a moment. I think lightning is about 30,000 degrees Kelvin. Hot enough to melt sand into glass. Quote, and you are not concerned? Zeek-Thar asked. Well, we're inside, Amy pointed out. Buildings have lightning rods to protect them, and the odds of being struck by lightning are really low. You're more likely to be injured in a car accident. This did not comfort the alien students, especially since they had been in cars yesterday and found them terrifying. The storm intensified as the morning progressed. Rain fell in sheets, hammering against the windows with force that seemed violent. Wind howled around the building, strong enough to bend trees. Lightning flashed constantly, and thunder rolled like artillery fire. The aliens watched from inside, horrified. The humans went about their day normally. Some even went outside, running between buildings with just thin fabric hoods over their heads. They came back wet and laughing, shaking water from their hair like it was amusing. "I love storms," Jake said, standing by the window with his coffee. "It makes me feel like I am going to die," Vix muttered. By afternoon, the storm had passed, leaving everything wet and dripping. The alien students equipped themselves with every piece of safety gear they had. The humans wore light jackets and comfortable shoes. "Stay on the path," Martinez instructed. "Don't touch any plants unless I tell you it's safe. If you see any animals, don't approach them. Just observe from a distance." The trail led through a wooded area near campus. Trees towered overhead, their branches still dripping from the rain. The ground was soft and muddy. Strange smells filled the air, organic and damp. Every shadow seemed to hide potential threats. Amy walked alongside the group, her enthusiasm undimmed by the alien students' obvious fear. "This is so exciting. I love being in nature. It's so peaceful and beautiful." "Peaceful?" Plina asked. "I can hear at least 20 different creatures moving around us." "Oh yeah, tons of wildlife here," Amy agreed. "Mostly birds and squirrels. Maybe some deer, if we're lucky. Nothing dangerous." As if summoned by her words, a small, furry creature scurried up a nearby tree at incredible speed. It stopped on a branch, watching them with dark eyes while making a chattering sound. "That is moving at over 40 kilometers per hour, Cornash observed, his multiple eyes tracking the creature. "And its jaw strength relative to body size is immense." "That's just a squirrel," Amy said, laughing. "They're harmless, really cute too." "It has predator eyes and sharp claws," Cornash countered. "How is that harmless?" Well, it mainly eats nuts and seeds," Amy explained. "Though, I guess they'll eat bird eggs sometimes, but they won't attack you or anything." The group continued down the path. Martinez stopped occasionally to point out various plants and explain their properties. Most of the explanations involved some variation of poison, toxin, irritant, or allergen. "This is poison ivy," he said, indicating a plant with 3 leaves. "Contact with the oils causes severe itching and rashes in most humans. Best to avoid it entirely." "How do you survive here?" Zixthar asked in genuine confusion. "Everything seems designed to harm you." Martinez smiled. "You learn what to watch out for. Knowledge is your best defense. Humans have been studying Earth's biology for thousands of years. We know what's dangerous and how to protect ourselves." They reached a clearing where a fallen log lay across the path. As Martinez approached it, he suddenly stopped and held up his hand. "Everyone, stay back for a moment." The alien students froze, their fears confirmed. There was a threat. Martinez bent down and carefully moved some leaves. "Just as I thought. Lisa, come look at this." Lisa joined him, and both humans smiled with delight. "Oh, wow. That's a beauty." "What is it?" Amy asked, moving closer. "Timber rattlesnake," Martinez said. "Venomous, but not aggressive unless threatened. Look at that pattern." The alien students could not comprehend what they were witnessing. The humans had found a venomous creature and were admiring it. They were standing within striking distance of a dangerous predator and discussing its aesthetic qualities. "We should move around it," Martinez said. "Give it plenty of space. It's probably still sluggish from the cold last night." The group carefully detoured around the snake, which watched them with unblinking eyes, but did not move. Once they were safely past, the alien students' questions erupted. "Why did you not kill it?" Vix demanded. Martinez looked shocked. "Kill it? Why would we do that? It was just sitting there, not bothering anyone. This is its home. We're the visitors." But it is dangerous, Zeeksthar said. Potentially, if you threaten it or step on it by accident. Martinez agreed. But most snake bites happen because people panic or try to catch them. If you leave them alone, they leave you alone. Rattlesnakes are actually good for the ecosystem. They control rodent populations. The aliens struggled to process this. Humans allowed dangerous creatures to live near their settlements. They even valued their presence in the ecosystem. This went against every safety protocol the alien students had been taught. As they walked back toward campus, they passed a human jogging on a parallel trail. She wore minimal clothing and moved at a steady pace, breathing hard but showing no signs of stopping. She waved at the group as she passed. Is she being chased? Plina asked urgently. Should we help her? What? No, she's just running, Jake said. Exercise. People do it to stay healthy and fit. She is voluntarily exhausting herself? Yeah, running is great exercise. Gets your heart rate up, builds endurance, clears your mind, but she is using energy and resources for no purpose, Cornash said. That is inefficient. It's not for no purpose, Lisa explained. Exercise makes your body stronger. If you don't use your muscles, they weaken. Humans need regular physical activity to stay healthy. Plus it feels good. Runner's high is real. Another concept the aliens struggled with. Humans deliberately stressed their bodies to make them stronger. They pushed themselves to exhaustion for health benefits. They found discomfort pleasurable. Back at the campus, the group passed by a building with large windows. Inside, humans were lifting heavy objects, running on machines, and doing various activities that looked like torture. What is that place? Vix asked. The gym, Amy said. Where people work out. Want to see inside? It's pretty cool. Before anyone could object, Amy led them into the building. The smell hit them first, a combination of sweat and cleaning chemicals. The sounds were equally disturbing. Humans breathing hard, machines whirring, weights clanking together. A human male was lifting a metal bar loaded with circular weights. His face was red with effort, muscles straining. He lowered the bar, rested for a moment, then lifted it again. What is he doing? Zeeksthar asked. Bench press, Amy said. He's working his chest and arm muscles, probably lifting about 100 kilograms based on the plates. Why is he lifting heavy objects repeatedly? To build muscle mass and strength. When you stress your muscles like that, they develop tiny tears. When they heal, they come back stronger. That's how you get stronger. You deliberately damage your body? Plina's glow flickered in distress. I mean, it's controlled damage, Lisa said. Your body is designed to adapt and improve. That's how humans evolved. We put stress on our systems, and our systems adapt to handle it better. In one corner, a human female was demonstrating something called martial arts to a small class. She moved with practiced precision, showing how to strike, block, and throw an opponent. The movements were efficient and clearly designed for combat. Humans learn to fight each other? Cornash asked. Well, martial arts is more about discipline and self-defense, Lisa explained. Though yeah, the techniques can be used in combat. It's good exercise too. And it teaches you control over your body. Do humans fight often? Vix asked nervously. Not really, Jake said. I mean, we have sports that are combat-based, like boxing or wrestling. And there are conflicts, sometimes, but most humans go their whole lives without being in a real fight. We prefer to solve problems through talking and cooperation. But you train for combat anyway, Zeeksthar observed. Better to know how and not need it than need it and not know how, Jake said with a shrug. That's what my dad always said. The alien students left the gym feeling more confused than ever. Humans lived on a world that constantly threatened them. Yet they added additional stress and danger voluntarily. They exercised until exhausted, lifted heavy objects until their muscles tore, and trained for combat they hoped never to use. That evening, as darkness fell once again, the alien students gathered in Zixthar's room. Through the window, they could see lights across campus, humans moving about their lives, laughing and talking, completely at ease in their dangerous world. "I have been thinking," Zixthar said slowly. "We have been viewing humans as weak because they lack natural weapons and armor. But what if we are wrong? What if their fragility is not a weakness, but the source of their strength?" "Explain," Cornash said. "They have no venom, so they developed medicine. They have no claws, so they made tools. They have no armor, so they learned to heal from injuries. Every disadvantage pushed them to innovate and adapt. Their physical weakness made them mentally strong, and made them absolutely terrifying," Plina added quietly. "A species that survived this world, not by being the strongest predator, but by refusing to give up." They sat in silence, listening to the sounds of Earth's night. Somewhere in the distance, something howled at the moon. On any other world, it would be the sound of danger. On Earth, it was just another ordinary night. The final week of the exchange program arrived faster than the alien students expected. They had survived 2 weeks on Earth, though survive felt like the appropriate word. Each day had brought new revelations about the terrifying nature of humanity and their death world home. For their final project, the alien students decided to present their findings to the Galactic University Council. They wanted to explain what they had learned, not just about Earth, but about the humans who called it home. Zixthar stood in the university library, surrounded by datapads and holographic displays. His research had consumed the past several days. He had studied Earth's history, its geological records, its evolutionary timeline. The more he learned, the more astounding humanity's survival became. "Look at this," he said to Cornash, who was working nearby. "Earth's magnetic field fluctuates and occasionally reverses polarity. During these reversals, the planet's surface is exposed to increased radiation from space. This has happened hundreds of times." "And humans survived?" Cornash asked. "Their ancestors survived. Modern humans evolved relatively recently, only about 300,000 years ago, but their evolutionary line goes back millions of years, through countless environmental changes." Plina floated in her mobile tank, reviewing medical data. "I have been studying human physiology with Lisa's help. Their immune system is incredible. They have multiple layers of defense against disease. White blood cells, antibodies, inflammation responses. Their bodies are constantly at war with microscopic invaders. Because Earth is full of diseases," Vix added from her corner. She had been researching Earth's history of plagues and pandemics. "Humans have survived diseases that killed millions of their own kind. And each time, the survivors adapted, became more resistant." Jake and Amy visited them in the library, bringing snacks and drinks. They had become genuine friends over the past weeks, despite the vast differences between their species. "How's the project going?" Amy asked, setting down a container of cookies. "We are learning things that disturb us greatly," Zixthar admitted. "But also, things that we respect deeply." Like what?" Jake asked, genuinely curious. "Like how humans persist," Plina said. "We have studied your history. You faced ice ages, volcanic winters, asteroid impacts, floods, droughts, predators, diseases, and countless other challenges. And yet you never stopped trying to survive." "I guess we're stubborn like that," Jake said with a smile. "My grandma always said humans are too dumb to know when to quit. That is not stupidity," Zixthar said seriously. "That is determination. It is courage. It is perhaps the most impressive trait we have ever encountered in a sentient species." Amy looked touched. "That's really nice of you to say. I know Earth has been tough for you guys. I'm sorry if we scared you." "You should not apologize for being who you are," Cornash said. We came here with assumptions. We thought humans were weak, fragile things that needed protection. We were wrong. The day of the presentation arrived. The alien students gathered in a conference room with a holographic projector linked to the Galactic University Council. Council members from across known space appeared as shimmering images, curious about what the exchange students had learned. Zixthar began the presentation. His crystalline structure caught the light as he stood before the council, his voice steady and clear. Honorable council members, we came to Earth expecting to find a dangerous world inhabited by a species that had somehow managed to survive through luck or chance. What we found was far more significant. We discovered a species forged by adversity, shaped by challenges, and strengthened by every threat their world presented. The display showed Earth rotating slowly, beautiful, and deadly. Earth is classified as a Class 12 death world, the highest danger rating. This classification is accurate. The planet's oxygen levels are toxic to many species. Its gravity is above standard. Its weather includes electrical storms, high-velocity winds, and dramatic temperature fluctuations. Its geology is unstable, with earthquakes and volcanic activity. Its biosphere is intensely competitive, with nearly every organism possessing some form of defense mechanism. Plina continued the presentation. Humans evolved on this world not by becoming the strongest predator, but by becoming the most adaptable. They developed intelligence, tool use, and social cooperation as survival strategies. They learned to use fire, create weapons, build shelters, and modify their environment. What they lacked in natural defenses, they compensated for with innovation. Cornash pulled up medical data. Human biology reflects their environment. They have exceptional endurance, allowing them to outlast faster predators. They have advanced immune systems developed through constant exposure to pathogens. They can survive injuries that would be fatal to most species. They can adapt to extreme temperatures, high altitudes, and varied diets. They are, in biological terms, survivalists. Vix showed historical data. Human history is marked by persistence in the face of extinction-level events. Ice ages, plagues, natural disasters, resource scarcity. Each challenge reduced their population, but never eliminated them. The survivors passed on traits and knowledge that made future generations stronger. This cycle repeated for hundreds of thousands of years. A council member interrupted, her holographic image flickering. Are you suggesting humans are dangerous to other species? Should we be concerned about their integration into galactic society? Zixthar stepped forward again. That is precisely what we are not suggesting. This is the most remarkable part of our findings. Humans evolved the capacity for violence. Yes, they had to survive Earth's predators and compete for resources. But they also evolved empathy, cooperation, and altruism. Because on Earth, isolation meant death. Humans survived by working together, caring for their sick and injured, sharing resources during times of scarcity. They choose kindness, Plina added softly. Despite coming from a world that gave them every reason to be aggressive and territorial, humans developed complex social bonds. They care for other species, even those that serve no practical purpose. They keep animals as companions. They protect endangered species. They create art and music and literature that celebrates peace and understanding. The presentation showed images from their time on Earth. Jake playing with his dog, Amy tending to plants in a garden, Lisa helping injured animals at a veterinary clinic, humans laughing together, studying together, helping each other. Humans could have become a species of pure predators, Cornash said. Their world certainly pushed them in that direction. Instead, they became something more complex. They are capable of great violence, yes, but they are equally capable of great compassion. And they choose compassion more often than not. Another council member spoke. What about their expansion into space? Humans have already begun colonizing their own solar system. Should we be concerned about aggressive expansion? Zeekstar answered thoughtfully. We asked Professor Kevin Martinez about this. He explained that humans explore not to conquer, but to understand. They are curious by nature, driven to discover what lies beyond their current knowledge. Yes, they will expand into space. Yes, they will face new challenges. But based on everything we have observed, they will approach those challenges as they approached Earth's dangers, with determination, creativity, and a willingness to adapt and coexist. The presentation concluded with a final slide showing Earth from space, with one simple statement written beneath it. Never judge a species by their appearance. Judge them by their choices. The council members were silent for a long moment, processing what they had heard. Finally, the head council member spoke. This is a remarkable report. You have given us much to consider. The integration of humanity into galactic society is clearly more complex than we anticipated. With respect, Plina said, we believe humans will be an asset to the galactic community. They bring unique perspectives, shaped by unique challenges. They have survived the impossible. They can teach us about resilience, adaptation, and the choice to be kind, despite having every reason not to be. After the presentation ended and the council members disconnected, Professor Martinez entered the room. He had been watching from the back, allowing the students to present without interference. That was excellent work, he said warmly. You've all come a long way from that first day when you were terrified of everything. We are still terrified of many things, Vix admitted. But now we understand the terror better. That's growth, Martinez said with a smile. Understanding your fears is the first step to overcoming them. Though I notice you're all still using your safety equipment. 7. Some habits are wise to maintain, Zeekstar said, adjusting his gravity harness. The farewell ceremony took place on the last day. The alien students gathered with their human friends, exchanging gifts and contact information. There were promises to stay in touch, to visit again, to continue learning from each other. Amy gave Plina a small potted plant. This is a cactus. They're really hardy plants, don't need much water. I thought you might like to have a piece of earth with you. Plina accepted it carefully, aware that even Earth's plants had evolved defenses. This one had sharp spines, covering its surface. I will care for it with great respect. Thank you. Jake handed Zeekstar a small folding knife. This is a traditional tool for hikers and campers. My dad gave me my first one when I was 10. I want you to have this one. Zeekstar held the knife carefully, understanding the significance. Humans carried tools for survival everywhere they went, even in supposedly safe environments. This was both practical and symbolic. I will treasure this. It will remind me of what I learned here. Lisa gave Vix a photo album filled with pictures from their time together. So you can remember all the fun we had, and maybe it won't seem so scary when you look back on it. Vix's ears twitched with emotion. I will never forget this experience. Or you. You showed me that being afraid and being brave are not opposites. You can be both at the same time. As the alien students boarded their transport ship, they looked back at Earth one final time. The blue and green planet rotated peacefully below them, giving no indication of the dangers lurking on its surface. Beautiful, isn't it? Jake said, standing at the observation window with them. From up here, you can't see all the things that make it dangerous. You just see home. That is because you have lived with the danger your whole life, Zeekstar said. You no longer see it as unusual. Do 3. F. Maybe, Jake agreed. Or maybe we just choose to see the beauty instead of only seeing the danger. Both exist together. That's just reality. 4. The transport undocked and began its journey back to Meridian Station. The alien students watched Earth shrink in the distance, each of them changed by their experience. 6 months later, Plena's cactus was thriving in her carefully controlled environment on her home world. She had written a research paper titled Persistence and Kindness: The Dual Nature of Humanity, that became required reading at the Galactic University. Students across known space learned about the death world, called Earth, and the remarkable species that called it home. Zeeksthar had become an advocate for human integration into galactic society. He gave lectures about his time on Earth, always ending with the same message: judge them not by where they come from, but by who they choose to be. Cornash collaborated with human scientists on a project studying comparative evolutionary biology. His research showed that while humans were indeed formidable in many ways, their greatest strength was their ability to choose cooperation over conflict. Vix wrote children's books about her adventures on Earth, teaching young aliens about understanding and respecting differences. Her most popular book was called The Friendly Death World, which explained that dangerous and wonderful could describe the same place. Back on Earth, Jake and Amy prepared for the next group of exchange students. New aliens would arrive next month. Eager and nervous about visiting the legendary Death World. Should we warn them more thoroughly? Amy asked, reviewing the orientation materials. Jake laughed. No, I think they need to discover it for themselves, just like we did. Besides, some things you have to experience to really understand. True. I still can't believe they thought Earth was dangerous. Amy, Earth is dangerous. We just don't notice because we grew up here. I guess that's the point, isn't it? The things that seem normal to us are terrifying to others. Makes you think about perspective. As the sun set over the campus, painting the sky in brilliant oranges and reds, Jake and Amy sat on a bench, watching students walk by. Humans going about their daily lives on their death world, completely unaware of how extraordinary their simple existence truly was. Somewhere above them, among the stars, alien students were sharing stories about the humans they had met, about the species that survived the impossible and chose kindness, about the people from the death world who smiled at danger and offered cookies to strangers. And on Earth, life continued as it always had. Beautiful, dangerous, and full of humans who refused to give up, no matter what the universe threw at them.